So, welcome for all of those who could make it. We are recording it, so those who miss out on it, the benefit of that is that you can watch it sometime again. And the downside is if you miss too many of these, then catching up is a very hard thing these days. So I'm going to start with the I'm just going to put the Bitcoin price on. I'm going to do some recapping on how we did market analytics over the last several weeks, probably a few months that we've been busy now, and say, all right, when you start your screen up, you're going to say, okay, what do I see in front of me? I only see part of the history starting the 2nd of October to the 21st of October. If I take my mouse, there's a little, if you have a little scroller on your mouse and you put it on the screen and you start scrolling backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards and backwards, you can then get more information, more candlesticks on your screen. So we were right about that being a head and shoulders, and that's why we saw drastic drops in the market. But when we take this to a different time frame, let's say 1 day type time frame, we see a lot more history on the screen, and it helps us to make better calculated decisions. Now, this screen in front of us would appear as a long-term trader's screen. We also might have that another head and shoulders over there, which means we might see the price drop to 1.4, 1.5 million before it goes back up again. So we've been using and adding more tools on as we go. The first tool we started using was, besides understanding buying and selling, was the Bollinger Bands. I'm just scrolling the mouse forward to zoom in on the current situation, the current markets. And then we started adding things like RSI, relative strength index. We added on parabolic SAR, and different tools. So looking at the market now, we can see the market is in a good place to buy if you take it for a 1 day market. Over there and over there was a good place to sell. So in other words, during July, the 13th of July, it was a good time to sell. Around the 1st of September, it was a good time to buy. 26th of September was a good time to buy. And then, of course, 6th of October was a good time to sell. So this is how we learn the markets by looking at the history and correlating the history with the RSI and the actual candlesticks and where their prices were. So I'm going to just refresh the screen. So you see that little button on the top of the screen. I'm going to click on the refresh button and all of it gets wiped off. Unfortunately, it is so. I want to close this volume button at the bottom. And then I want to talk about moving averages. So I'm going to type in, I can scroll down to find it, moving average. And I will find the moving average in the middle. So for instance, the moving average is a calculation on, it's doing these calculations all the time. It's saying, for instance, over here, it's saying that this line where it is now is the average of, let's say, 100 prices going back. So in other words, 100 candlesticks back, take the average of it, and that's where it is. And you can see the candlesticks are pretty close to that moving average line. And we can see as the moving average changes, so the candlesticks jump up and down on top of it. Now, this tool we can use together with our Bollinger Bands, because the Bollinger Bands also use a moving average line. You can see there's the moving average line. So that's the center of where the price should be. So the Bollinger Bands has a red moving average line. It has a different calculation. The calculations are that would be moving average of 9. That would be moving average of 20. Now we don't want to go into detail. It's we want to keep the simplicity of the course so that everyone knows at least it's a calculation, and that's why they're not exactly the same place. So we can see now the moving averages are there. They crossed each other. And the fact that they crossed each other showed that there was a change. Well, there was going to be a change and the price dropped. Over here, they crossed each other again, and that means possibly this price is going to go up over the next day or so. So the moving average just tells us where the price should be. If I had to now take this on a 4-hour, then the moving average is telling me something different. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to extend the moving average. And I'm going to extend that moving average. And I'll say the price has to get back into the moving average. So if I'm thinking the market was bearish, the price went outside the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands tells you what the extreme low and the extreme calculated high is. These are tools that traders forget to use, and because they forget to use, they just want to make money. And that's a mistake that traders make, is you want to make money, but you want to put that picture on the wall. You can't just take the picture and put it there and expect it's going to stand there. You got some preparation work to do. You've got to do some measurements. You got to drill a hole. You got to put in a plug, and then you got to put a screw in there or a special hook in there. And once you're happy, that's where all the hard work happens. How many of you ever watched or participated in athletics? And I'm not talking about long distance athletes, but even it counts for long distance. But if you watch the 100 and the 200 and the 400-meter athlete, they spend 9 seconds or 10 seconds running the fastest race of their lives. But they don't spend 10 seconds warming up. They spend, the last time I was at a place where I was watching a super athlete, Michael Johnson, and he was preparing in Polokwane for an event. And he spent probably an hour to an hour and a half warming up his muscles, jogging up and down, so that he wouldn't have a cramp or have any problems doing that race. So all the preparation is essential for traders. When you start your trades, when you start your day on your trades, the preparation is important. So I'm discussing these tools, showing you these tools so that you can take advantage of them. So I'm going to actually extend these, and these could change at any time. These could go like down steeply, or back up steeply, back up steeply. So that could change. But I can project, I'm on a 4-hour graph now. I can project fairly accurately what my trading range is going to be. So I can say in the next day, using my moving averages, and I'm using the Bollinger Band also as a moving average, if this price had to drop over the next 2, 3 days, it would possibly drop another 1.8 to 2%. But if it recovers and it gets back to that extent, or in the, let's see what the percentage is now to get to the first moving average. So we're on 0.8%. To the second moving average, which is the Bollinger Band's moving average, almost 1.5%. For it to get to the top of the Bollinger Band, we are looking at 3.62%. Now, you must also remember, we're all different. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all have different amounts of money we want to work with. And because of the amounts of money we want to work with, we're going to have different strategies. For any trader that's trading with 100,000, 200, 500,000, trading this is ultimately a good idea, because I could possibly put 1% on my trade and make that 1%. So if I just place one order tonight, bought at the current price, and remember, nothing I'm saying to you is guaranteed, but it's because we're talking about small profits over the next few hours, we don't have to worry about, is it really going to go up 3% or 5%? I'm talking about the trader that's got 100,000 Rand that wants to make 1,000 Rand per day or 1,000 Rand per trade. So there's a difference between 1,000 Rand per trade or 1,000 Rand per day. Because you can do one trade a day for 1,000 Rand with 100,000 Rand. And you can do that 30 days and you will have 30,000 Rand a month. But let's say you're making 1% and you've got 10,000 Rand. Well, then you're making 100 Rand per day. And that means you're making 3,000 Rand per month if you are trading with 10,000 Rand. For different kinds of traders, different kind of strokes, different strokes for different folks. So what another trader would do is they would go and trade one of these fast moving coins like Hedera, Helix, Dogecoin, where they can make 3 to 5% per day on their money. So if I've got 10,000 Rand and I'm making 500 Rand a day, I'm still making 15,000 Rand a month on my 10,000 Rand. And if you want to compound that, you take the whole 10, so you put in 10,000 Rand, you made another 5,000 Rand. Instead of trading with 10,000 all the time, you trade with everything, including your profit. That's how all your wholesalers do business. But let's get back to the screen here. What we got in front of us is the possibilities. The moving averages are telling us where this price would go in the next, between now and, let's say, just the 17th, between now and the 17th. So in the next 3 days, we could have any kind of movement in this area. In other words, I want to make my profit at, let's say, 1%. I want to buy back when it's down again when it goes back up, I want to make another 1% and making regular profits. This is all doable stuff, folks. For those of you who've been on enough calls, I've been telling people the stories of those people that have been making that kind of money. But the purpose of the moving average is, let's go change this moving average to a 1 day. Let's say you are looking at rather not in the next few days. What about in the next month or two? How are my moving averages and my Bollinger Bands what they're going to show me then? They show me a different story. It shows me a medium-term strategy. I'm going to make this full screen so that if you're using the cell phone, you're not going to struggle. Oops, you're not going to struggle to see this. I'm just enlarging it a bit so that you can see it clearer. Now we have a different story. We can see this moving average here actually change direction. So we're not going to have so much an upward movement as what we have down movement. So if I extend this one and I extend this one, we have that crossover point. This is for a different class, a different day. But then we possibly, if it does go higher, we can go all the way to 7%. But we can also see that the possibility to buy down 7% lower is what a long-term, medium-term trader would do. Now we got sideways. This is what's very interesting now, is that both the Bollinger Band lines are going sideways. They're going in a channel that's saying people actually don't know what's going. And what that means is it's broadening. This is part of the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands are broadening. So there's going to be lots of activity from bottom to top of around 15%. And what we see right here is possibly we can make some money on the markets in the next few days in the close range. But yeah, we've got a problem. Our main moving average tool that we use shows that this is dropping. And that could mean that the price, we're going to buy Bitcoin cheaper. We're on the 1.8 million mark. Unless something drastic happens. Okay, so moving averages are just helping us to show where is the center of the Bitcoin universe at this point in time. We've got two centers. We've got that center and we've got this center, and they're basically going to cross each other. They're going to be in the same center, the same center point of gravity. There any questions, use the chat box. If you can't use the chat box, tell me on the WhatsApp group, but I think I did enable the chat box. So with all the tools that we've learned, most of you will be able to make a calculated decision to make a trade on doing basic trades. Obviously, there are more intermediate and advanced courses that I can present to you. I can sell it to you at discounted rates. But I wanted to keep this as simple as possible so that anyone and everybody could see that simplicity is really what's important. And then, of course, basic fundamentals. The basic fundamentals of trading is you're looking at little day-to-day things. We're adding tools onto our screen. We're adding, let me go take this off full screen again. And I'm going to add, let's say, the parabolic SAR. I'm going to add the RSI. And then we have a look at this, and it's a one-day graph in full screen mode. It's better to sit and analyze the graph than to try and figure out. Okay, I just want to make a quick buck. Now, remember, we're sitting on a one-day graph. On the one-day graph, the price could go up 1.5%, 2% before it goes down. But we're now looking at dangerous territory, but because our parabolic SAR, see those little dots? They are on the top. When they're on the top, what does that mean? That they will be going down like this. Like these are supporting dots. These are resistance, pushing down dots. Telling you that, hang on, up until this gets to the candlesticks, close to the candlesticks like they do here. See there? Virtually touching the candlestick. Change of direction. Here, well, if it touched the candlestick, it would have touched it there. Parabolic SAR. Over here, they are far away from the candlesticks. It's going to take a while for the candlesticks, probably hereby in a week's time. We will be going down with this also. So maybe we will still see another 5 to 7 days of the prices dropping. And for cyclical trading, we always know that the 19th of the month, from the 18th to the 19th to the 20th, the markets generally take a little tumble. Why? Because people are cashing out so that their funds, so that they can pay their debts and debit orders. So there are some rational reasons for some of the things happening, but I'm sure that this has been some kind of help for you tonight. And for those of you who want to get started trading and get going, we also have the Signals and the Tribe membership, which I tell the guys on a daily basis. The Signals is 600 Rand a month. Tribe membership is 900 Rand a month. For those who want to do the Super Tribe, well, that's some double Tribe membership. But starting at 600 Rand, you can get daily updates on what we are trading and where we are looking at trades. So sometimes it helps the traders just to give them a kickstart, to give them confidence, because when you're doing this kind of thing on your own, you might get lost somewhere down the line. So I hope all of you have benefited from this session. For those of you who are not watching the news and being distracted by family and friends, I know that when I start the meeting, I often hear all the background noise and I'm thinking I wouldn't be able to concentrate. But you folks have a great evening, and you're welcome to send me a personal messages asking me anything. When I see the message, when I can, I will respond to you. No problem. Right, so I see got a question here. Please explain the trading percentages and when you use higher percentages. All right, so trading percentages are dependent on your strategy. So when any traders are asking me questions, I always say I always answer the question, it depends on it depends. And then I'll say, what is it? What do you mean? Then I'll say it depends on what your strategy is. So if you are short term, medium term, or long term? Or you talk sometimes your combination, but you'll say, I want to trade Bitcoin short term. I want to make daily profits. Then I'll say, okay, to make daily profits, we need to find a nice entry point over here. So let's change this again back to 30 minutes. Make it auto. In 30 minutes, I can see there's a green candlestick. We've just found places where the market could go to, different moving average points. So if I want to make 1%, I'm sure I'll be able to make 1%, 1.2%, up to 2% in the next few hours between now and tomorrow this time. But the general feeling when I look at the 1 day graph, it tells me, I think I would rather want to buy where the price is the lower price. We went down to, what was the price? 1.8 million rand somewhere. And yeah, you can trade with 5 rand, you can trade with 20 rand, 100 rand, 10,000 rand, 1 million rand at a time. No problem. So short-term trading, yes, go for 1% on the downward market, on the market that's dropping. When I'm looking at my RSI over there, sorry, on the 1 day graph, I'm seeing most likely that the price is still going to drop. It might drop to the 24. It's on 40 at the moment. It might shoot up because from now, I would say we would have 2 weeks of if there's any bull runs, it's going to happen within the next 14 days. And then I'm saying there's a big correction coming. We are going to be rather trading the cheaper coins that are already on their low point, that have already hit rock bottom, like Shiba, and can give us good returns on our capital. Look at Shiba's price. It's right there at the bottom. And there's so much potential for that to go back up again. Whereas Bitcoin is right at the top there and it's about to come down. So we're going to be trading other coins, and that's the information we share on the tribe membership and the signals. Hopefully that answers your question. And one guy told me the other day, I share too much information in the session. I must keep it more simple. So I find that hard to do. I sometimes overshare, and then people get confused. But yes, as I say, I'm recording the session, so you can watch it several times again. Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Yusuf, also. Have yourself a wonderful evening. We chat soon. Bye for now.